Alright, today we have a review of the Haize Project Ultra 20 backpack in this beautiful X-Pac 21 in yellow. This looks amazing. They actually have this in purple as well. So as the name implies, this is an ultra backpack. So this actually, and I have to read this off, has a weight of, according to their website, 987 grams, so below 1 kilogram, and has a volume of 20 liter. Ultra, in this case ultra light, but I would argue, considering the materials and the construction, you could also call it ultra durable. This bag has been incredibly comfortable to carry around with all of the stuff inside that I will show you in just a second. With the ultra, in air quotes, specification, there comes a little bit of expectation where you want to use it. So this backpack, to me at least, is more of a hiking, outdoorsy backpack. I used it for work, but I carried a lot of film editing gear, which again I will show you in just a second. And for those of you who are comment or who don't want to see that, there are chapter markers, go ahead and skip forward. But I feel like it is important for you to understand what A, fits inside, and B, what I carried around, and therefore you can get a better evaluation on the comfortability, because considering everything that is inside and it's still being extremely comfortable to carry around is, I believe, one of the most important factors why you potentially want to consider this backpack. So not only is it ultralight empty, but because this is a bag that you would consider for an outdoorsy situation, you have a very outdoorsy kind of harness system and back panel system. So here in the back you have a very soft and very well padded back panel that also allows the attachment of waist belt. But I would argue with 20 liters of capacity you don't really need a waist belt, at least not in the situations that I use this bag. But obviously when you need to walk a lot in an outdoorsy situation, you want to kind of take off some of the load from your shoulders onto your hips. But speaking of shoulders, these shoulder straps are extremely comfortable, yet as I said, they are very outdoorsy stuff in a way that you have a lot of kind of attachment points, you have load lifters. You unfortunately don't have very good strap-in organizers. These are just the elastics, but it's still okay. So this harness system really reminds me of outdoor backpacks. Again, I feel like this is supposed to be an outdoor backpack, and therefore has a lot of things that potentially, if you would use this in a carry-on scenario in an airplane, there is a lot of potential for some of these kind of attachment loops, the load lifters, especially here, this part where the strap of the load lifters kind of create like a loop point. There is a lot of potential risk of this snatching or getting stuck in the overhead compartment. So that is definitely something to keep in mind with every single outdoorsy kind of bag where there is so much lashing points, and especially these load lifters. I personally, I don't really need load lifters. I don't want load lifters because I feel like they add a complexity to a shoulder strap that I personally don't need, but to each their own. You have a top handle that is okay-ish. It's not very well padded, but there is some padding. What I don't really like is the connection point here is, I wouldn't call it sharp, but you feel it in comparison. Here on this side it's rounded and here it's sharp. So depending on which side you kind of carry it, this, in air quotes, sharp connection point or border is somewhat digging into your hand. Not by much, but again, if you compare it, oh, here it's rounded, why isn't it rounded here as well? That would have been a little bit better, but it's the way it's constructed, so I understand that. Continuing with lashing points, again, this kind of underlines why I consider this an outdoor bag. Here are so many lashing points that you could attach like a sleeping bag or whatever. Then you have two more carrying things that kind of remind me of a good way to store this maybe into your Land Rover Jeep, and then after you kind of pull it out like so, you can put it on your head, so on your back, and that's really cool. So again, add some complexity where there is potential that these could get hooked or snagged in the overhead compartment. So I do feel like, or underneath your seat, so you want to pull it out, there's something underneath the airplane seat, there's a lot of potential that this just kind of gets stuck at something underneath the seat. So for me personally, this would not be an ideal bag for flying or traveling. This is, again, an outdoor bag in my humble opinion. What I do like is we have two water bottle compartment, but not only do we have a water bottle compartment here that, oh, here I have some hand sanitizer actually. These are not that deep, but depending on the bottle you have, I used a large water bottle that I forgot downstairs. You put it in here, but you have also these kind of retention or straps that keep the bottle or whatever you have in here. Maybe also like a yoga mat if you want to go camping and you put that on the ground and put your sleeping bag on top. This could fit in here without having to worry that it falls out because you have this kind of retention straps. But just like on the Five-Seater, you have lashing points here. So in theory, if you put your bottle in here, you can use the carabiner and kind of hook it to the side so it doesn't fall out if you walk up a hill or run up a hill, for example. And you have this for symmetry basically on both sides, and I like that a lot. So before we go into the main compartment and the way it opens up, here at the top we have one quick access compartment where I have some ibuprofen, but I also actually used it for my car keys just to throw it in here when I was in the office. But other than that, there is no other quick access compartment, which I thought is a little bit of a shame, but yeah, I kind of understand it from a design standpoint that there is only one kind of quick compartment, because this in the bag, as I said, is a somewhat of a hiking bag, and I don't see it would be good if there would be a compartment here that potentially, if you put something hard in it, it would kind of pressure on some parts of your bag. And personally, this is just speculation, I'm not a designer, but I would argue that if you create a hiking bag that needs to be ergonomically friendly and helps you to walk long distances, I don't want anything to be in here that compromises the comfortability of the back panel. So that's why, I mean, I understand it from a design standpoint that there aren't any more compartments here on the outside. So the main compartment can be opened up clamshell, somewhat clamshell style, because the zippers go up to here, so not all the way to the bottom. But more importantly, there is a secure mechanism that prevents the bag opening up full clamshell style if you, for example, forgot to close the zipper completely. You have two tiny, these are tiny, I've never seen these tiny fitlock buckles, V-buckle style fitlock buckles that kind of secure the top flap. So if you don't open up these two fitlocks, the top flap won't open. So essentially this could be a top loading bag or a somewhat clamshell opening bag. But let's open up this clamshell. You have beefy, very beefy YKK zippers, which I really like because this gives me a lot of confidence that this will hold up a harsh environment where I climb up a mountain, for example. So I open this up, again, clamshell only up to here, so half clamshell. You open this up and then it exposes two mesh zipper pockets here at the top that is pretty much known. In here I have some talcum powder, protein bar, tissues. We have a gray ripstop fabric that has basically somewhat like a topographic map on here. And personally, I started to always have like an extra t-shirt with me, just out of, I don't know, I've never needed it, but if I would be a little bit sweaty or whatnot, I fold up always a merino shirt or this technical shirt, fold it up, put it in one of these bottom mesh pockets, so I have always a fresh shirt with me if I needed to. Then we have my favorite tech pouch, the Evergood Cap 2 liter with my Logitech MX Master. I actually did a long-term review of the Logitech MX Master on my second channel. Maybe check that one out. I have a OHI GAN charger, dongles, cables, everything in this, because the beauty of the Cap 2 liters is when you open this up, you don't only have all of your stuff, but you have a desk cradle. You put this on the desk at work and then you can put your phone in here, your notebook, whatever. So that's the Cap 2 liters. Then I have the Able Carry compression cube that I utilize for my split keyboard from Knock Free. This is an amazing keyboard that I utilize for work because it's split, therefore it gives me a little bit more ergonomics when working at my client's desk. And I actually updated the switches to silent switches. Listen to this. So I actually bought not enough switches, so I have two different ones. So these are yellow switches. If you're a keyboard enthusiast, you maybe know how cool this is. So yellows, and these are the silent. I think this is so cool. It feels great. Maybe check out that video that I did on my second channel about the upgrades, the switches. Really cool. And this Able Carry compression cube is the smaller one. I used the bigger ones in my check-in bag, and this is perfect for this keyboard. Really good. I put some foam in there because obviously compression or packing cubes have no padding, so I put some foam in there. Then I have my Bellroy pencil case as my boo-boo kit, the Tactical Geek pouch with my extended EDC, so items that I want to have with me every single day, but are not necessarily needed in my pants pockets. So a second flashlight, my phone charger and stuff like that. Then I have my new headphones. These are Sennheiser IE100 Pro. These are in-ear monitors, so I need good headphones when I'm editing, and I didn't want to have over-ear ones because it's currently hot, so I utilize these. And I actually have this USB-C DAC can you see it? USB-C DAC that has 3.5 millimeters to USB. So this is perfect to also, if the workstation of my client doesn't have a headphone output, I can put the DAC on there and listen to whatever I'm editing on the Sennheiser IE Pros. Then the Orbit Key packable tote. You can see also a review of that on my channel. Really good tote bag. That's basically it. And then in this laptop compartment, that is actually, it's difficult to show, but it's actually about 2 inches being suspended. While that is amazing, there is a huge negative. First and foremost, as you can see here, the laptop slot is inside and can be compromised depending on how full this bag is. It could be difficult to put stuff in back in because one of my lights went out. So yeah, let's continue a little bit darker. So if there is a lot of stuff here, if you want to put the laptop in, sometimes some of my pouches are a little bit in the way, so I kind of need to snuggle it inside. And then more importantly, this sheet here is not padded at all. There is no protection. From the other side, obviously there's the back panel, there is protection, but here at the front there's no protection. So if you have any hard items, be very mindful that those hard items don't pressure on your MacBook too much, which is why I utilize this Rush Faster laptop sleeve to kind of give my MacBook Pro 14-inch a little bit more protection, and that fits in there perfectly. But it's not that great to have the laptop inside and then also not padded. So the laptop slot isn't great. It's not the best. I don't like it. However, again, this is an outdoor bag. If you go hiking in the woods, do you actually bring your laptop? So I do feel like this is just an addition, good to have for those of you just like me, you use it at work, but actually it's not intended for that. All right, so that was everything that's inside. Let's talk about this bag. First and foremost, I love this color and I love the look overall. I'm a big fan of X-Pac because it gives you so many options of colors. I mean, there's a purple version of this. This is amazing. I love this yellow. I think the purple looks even cooler. It kind of looks like, you know, from McDonald's, this monster, Grimoire, is it Grimoire? That purple, it looks really fun. I do like it when brands use something else than just black, and X-Pac gives you the opportunity to do different colors. So look is great, build quality is amazing, comfortability also really good. But, and this is now the negative section, or rather the trade-off section, because everything that I mentioned now is coming from the territory that this bag is playing in. Again, outdoor backpack, designed potentially to walk many distance. That is why this is ultralight. It's below 1 kilo. That is amazing. But this also means, in air quotes, big air quotes, this has a complicated shoulder strap. That is great for walking long distances, but in office scenario or when you're flying, I feel like it's not the perfect solution. Again, this comes with a territory, and I do feel like this is not a negative, this is a trade-off. I think that is really important to distinguish. Because of this complicated shoulder strap system with the load lifters, that is good to have. This wouldn't be a bag for me. Next up, again, outdoorsy backpack. What's the trade-off? No one carries a laptop to the woods, or at least I don't know anyone. That is why the laptop compartment isn't the best. I would argue it's probably, from a feature standpoint, one of the worst laptop slots that I used. Not because it's bad, but because it's just not intended. This bag is not intended for the office use necessarily. But they gave us one anyways, and I think kudos to them. And again, just a trade-off. It's definitely something to keep in mind. I was able to fit so much stuff in here, but the loading style, yeah, it's good. I wouldn't call it bad, but it's okay-ish. It's nothing to write home about. I like that I can fit everything inside. I like that they use a bright in air quotes, gray inner lining with this cool topography design. But yeah, it's not necessarily for me. So, final verdict. What are my thoughts about this? I do feel like Haize project did a very fine job in creating an ultra light backpack that is not only looking good, that is well made. I feel like the functionality for what it needs to do is really good. And although there are trade-offs, I do feel like you can still use it in the office. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. And I feel like if you're an outdoorsy type and you want to buy a bag that caters to both situations, so when you're walking in the woods and then you potentially think, oh, I need to go to work as well, I do feel like this is a good option. Because the main goal is very well solved. So yeah, great bag, not for me. Still, I can recommend it if you're looking for an ultralight backpack. So, what are your thoughts about this bag? Yay, nay, colors. Would you dare? Would you dare? I know I'm a person that like colors in all of these bags, but I do know that I'm a minority. Would you dare to carry a purple backpack? Let me know in the comment section below. And what are your thoughts about this bag? Also comment below. And like always, all of the items are linked below. Those are affiliate links. With those you won't pay more, but you will support this channel with a small kickback of that sale. And if you do so, thank you very much. And if you want to see a different backpack that I potentially consider better for the office, check it up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. Thank you very much.